data and stuff like that, how you're being persuaded, and even how you can get more out of your AI by persuading it.
Interesting.
So we're going to be talking about all of those things. And we
persuading your AI.
Yeah. Using something we've talked about on this show many, many times, but we've never talked about it in a way to use it to persuade your AI. So,
okay.
So yeah, we'll talk about that.
Get a little teaser.
Yeah. But before we do, I guess we should hit our beverages real quick.
Yep.
You're abstaining today.
I have a Corona. I have a non-alcoholic Corona.
Okay, well, at least you stayed in the genre, at least.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. These are not bad when they're cold. They're better in the bottle than the can, I'll tell you that. But
yeah, of course.
Can't be picky.
Well, I've got so that's a 0 ABV.
I think it's a 0.5. Yeah, 0.5.
Yeah. So
there is a tad bit. There's a tad bit of alcohol.
Yeah, probably get more alcohol in the sugar alcohols in your protein bar.
Pretty much.
So I've had this on before, and I'd given a can to a friend, and I was pet sitting for them last week, and I went to their fridge, their beer fridge, and it was still sitting there, and I'd given it to them months ago. And I was like, this is about to go bad, so I'm just going to take it back for the podcast this week. So this one is, you may remember this one. It's Scary Pecan Pie. I was like, if you're not going to put that to good use, then, so this is like a fall thing, right? It's Scary Pecan Pie. It's stout with pecans, marshmallow, and graham cracker flavoring, sea salt, brown sugar, and lactose. Why they got to throw lactose in, I don't know. I think we had that conversation with David Dutton one time. I have no idea. I know it hits harder with the lactose for some reason, but anyway, this is 10% ABV.
Oh, wow. Well,
and super dark.
I think you're well within your rights if they haven't had it by then. This sounds like a Seinfeld episode that you took the beer and then they come back after you've been watching their pet, and then they come back.
They were probably they were probably thinking about it the whole trip. Yeah, the whole trip home. They were like, you know what I want when I get home? I want that beer that Sean gave us. And then they get there and it's not there. Now this thing was buried in the back of the fridge. I don't think it's even in the memory banks. So
yeah.
But I couldn't let it go to waste. It's too, it's a quality beer.
It reminds me of the what was the Marble Rye episode where the Seinfeld, they go out to they go over to his George's in-laws, for dinner.
Or to be in-laws.
To be in-laws. Yeah, never happened.
Quite made it.
And they brought the Marble Rye. They didn't eat it, so they took it back.
Yeah. Of course.
And then the first thing they look for, they say, is like, hey, what happened to that bread?
Yes. It does sound something like I would do. Like, dude, if you're not going to use that, I'm not going to leave it here and just let you throw it away. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let's cheers up to manipulation. Persuasion.
Persuasion. Cheers.
Well, it doesn't taste like it's bad, so that's good. It looks like I rescued it just in time.
Just in time.
Yeah. So it definitely has the marshmallow. Yeah, it's got the marshmallow flavor. I'm trying to remember. I have no idea what I gave it last time, but it's good. I'll give it a 4.25.
Ooh.
It's a
4.25.
It's a good imperial stout kind of feel to it.
I'm going to tell you what. I'll give this one a 0.5%. That's the ABV that's in. This is the alcohol amount that's in this can of Corona non-alcoholic. So
it's basically soda water, right?
Pretty much. So
with the little, that's. I never understood non-alcoholic beers. Just I'd rather have a Coke or something than a non-alcoholic beer.
Like, these are, I pulled this one from Rachel's stash. So, it's like, looked in the fridge. I thought about just getting some seltzer water or something, but I'm like,
well, you basically did. Just with a little, with a shot of beer flavor to it.
That's right.
So
0.5.
Yeah. Well, all right. I know you got another show to do after this one. You're a busy man. So let's talk about, we talked about doing a flight this week. So we did some research and there's a couple things that we came up with. Kind of the first thing I want to talk about before we really get into the AI stuff, because this is also AI. AI is doing it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But, and I'm starting to see this in other industries too. But specifically, I want to talk about surveillance pricing. And have you heard of this? I know I sent you a video on it, but had you heard of this?
I had not until you sent that. I had not even read or heard anything about this.
Yeah. So the idea behind this is that different consumers get different prices based on all the data that the internets and companies collect on us every day. Right. And I mean, like every day, every hour of every day. I don't know if you watched the video or not that I sent.
No, I did not.
So this guy basically, and by the way, he puts a whole lot more effort into his podcast and his YouTube channel than we do.
Good for him.
Like, maybe that's why he's got millions of subscribers. But yeah, it was well done. But he basically did this little study for himself because he'd heard about this and he interviewed some people and they're like, yeah, it's real. Like they look at your IP address, they look at your zip code, they look at your buying habits. Are you an easy sale? Are you a tough sale? Do you do discounts? Do you not do discounts? And a million other things. Are you visiting weight loss sites? Are you not visiting weight loss sites? Like all the data that you can possibly imagine, that hundreds of thousands of points of data that these companies have on us. They look at all that stuff. So if you and I were to go to, in fact, we could probably do it right now live. So
to the same website to buy something.
Yeah, if you went to the same website, it'll show something different.
All right. Let's give it a try.
And it's going to be different if you're on desktop or if you're on mobile or if you're on whatever, right? So
Yep.
I don't know. Give me one of the golf stores because I never go to a golf store. So what's an online golf outlet that you use?
Or
do you?
How about there's a place there's one that I use called Squares. They're golf shoes. Is that one that we could bring up?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. So let's so we want golf. We want men's golf shoes.
Yeah. Which one? All men's? You're going to all men's golf shoes?
Sure. We'll just pick the first pair. The first pair I see is a Pro S2 Spikeless Atlantic.
Okay. Pro S2 Spikeless. Yes.
All right. What is your price on that? We'll see if this even.
$179.
All right. Mine's the same. So that's not a big difference. So here's what they found in the study. That was a letdown. Sorry, live viewers. But what they found is,
maybe we're in the same demographic, Sean.
We probably, I'm not a golfer, but we're both using a Mac. We're both in similar zip codes outside of, towns. So yeah, we're probably similar in a lot of ways. There's going to be a lot of overlap. So what this guy did is he hired an actor. He bought a track phone that did not have any information on it.
Okay.
And he hired an actor.
Okay. To
play someone who likes free stuff and doesn't buy anything. And this guy went around and he went to, for instance, he went to McDonald's, downloaded their app, walked into the store, and then said, "Can I just buy a glass of water?" And they're like, "Sure, here, it's free." So there's a couple of things happen there. They're getting his location ID. They see he downloaded the app, but he didn't buy anything. They see what part of town he's in, like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So he did this for different restaurants and a couple other places. He even bought like a Metro bus got the Metro bus app but didn't use cash instead of the app to pay for his bus fare. Meanwhile, the guy that runs the channel was in his car following around, just kind of watching, see what he did.
Right.
They get back in the car and they compare prices on an online store, and they were about 15 to 20% difference.
Wow.
And you see this more on things like Uber, Instacart, Uber Eats, DoorDash, like the stuff where you're actually paying for the transaction through an app is where you tend to see the discrepancies more than you do in just like a regular e-com site.
Yeah.
And they found the discrepancies could be as much as 30, 35%.
Wow.
Between one person to the next.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, because they've got all this data. Have you ever noticed, I was doing some research last week or something. And have you ever noticed how like your phone, even if it's like on airplane mode and you put it beside your bed at night and you wake up and somehow the battery's gone down 10%?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, what's happening even in airplane mode is it's gathering all your data from the day and it's piping it out to all the every term and service agreement that you ever said yes to.
Yeah.
It's pumping that information and that data out to those people, to the hundreds of corporations and all that kind of stuff. So it's mining your phone every day for everywhere you went, every text you made, every, maybe not the actual text itself, but whatever information's allowed to be gathered, probably plus some, whatever we signed yes to. It pulls all that stuff every night and downloads it. So these data brokers are just getting all these terabytes of information every night from around the world, and they're feeding it all into these systems and deciding who pays what and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's crazy. So I was doing some more research, and sounds like crazy when you think about it, but the other side is it wasn't until 1870 that we had fixed pricing that kind of became a thing, because that was when the price tag was invented. It was in 1870. Up until that point, it was haggle. Everybody gets the price that they can negotiate for, and it's still that way in most of the world.
In other countries, you go over there and you can haggle.
You're expected to haggle. Yeah. And so in 1870, and I think it was National Cash Register that started that trend, because they were trying to sell cash registers, so they needed fixed prices and different stuff. And then in 1995, DoubleClick built the infrastructure for tracking that is now the backbone of the internet.
Right.
And they said that this type of software, this price adjusting software, is worth $5 billion a year right now, and that'll double by 2030.
Wow.
So more and more companies are going to start using this.
Wow. And with AI, it becomes so much easier.
Yeah, they're going to be able to parse that data any way they want. So the questions I started asking is, as a business, is it worth it? And financially, at least for big businesses like corporate, big $10 billion plus Fortune 500 type companies, it's absolutely worth it so far. They're seeing a $10 billion company might see $100 million profit increase.
Yeah.
Which is enough to keep investors happy. But what we're starting to see is the TikToks and the Instagrams where people are showing this kind of stuff. And they're showing receipts, and then another person gets another price, and it's terrible for PR.
Is Amazon doing this right now? Because
yes, Amazon's been doing it for a while. I think it's a little more subtle, but yeah, I think they do stuff like they adjust the price.
Well, I know
how long you've had it in your cart.
Yes,
like that kind of stuff.
But I'm curious if they're deciding between customer like groups, like people from the location, from whatever, like we were just talking about earlier. That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Is that
pretty much every major corporation is now using this from the research I did. Grocery stores are using it, especially if you're getting full delivery. Now, if you're just going into the grocery store, obviously everything's the same. But if you're ordering on the app and getting it delivered, you may see different pricing.
And if you're a Prime customer, I know you're getting probably better pricing.
Theoretically, but
if you're loyal and if you use it quite a bit.
And that was the thing. I was like, so, the cost obviously is trust when people find out. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the big cost. Mm-hmm. So some companies are going to say it's worth it. But I was trying to think, like, how does a small entrepreneur, solopreneur, freelancer, whatever, small business, small e-com shop, how do they take this? Like, I personally don't think you should do surveillance pricing. Even if it does increase profits.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, if I were to list out what to do and what not to do, here's what I came up with. Mm-hmm. Number one is do not, and you kind of just mentioned this, do not punish loyalty.
No. Yeah.
Because a lot of companies will actually lock you into a price and then give sales to everybody else. You see this all the time in the long distance, or not long distance, mm-hmm. but in the cable, the phones, your phone plans, they'll do promotions for new people, but not for existing customers.
Yeah.
Right. So you're punishing loyalty at that point. And then they wonder why people leave. And now I know, like, AT&T figured that out because they ran a whole series of commercials on, whether you're new or been here forever, you get the same, but you had to ask for the deal. They didn't offer it. You had to ask for it.
Yeah.
You had to go in and find out about it. So one, don't punish loyalty. If you got loyal customers, give them the best deals you can give them. If you're running a sale, be willing to give them a sale, that kind of thing. And you have to ask, like, what's the cost if people find out? And is that a cost I'm willing to pay?
I don't know how the cost would, because there's two ways to look at it. Some people may be upset, but your loyal customers will be happy to know that they're put into a select group of people who get, better pricing.
Well, and that was
their loyalty.
Yeah. And that was another point. It was like, if you're going to segment, because that's basically what this is, right? It's segmentation based on demographics and psychographics and everything else. So if you're going to segment publicly and not covertly.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're going to segment, have a student discount, have senior discounts, have a loyalty program, have an early bird special,
right?
And advertise those and put those out there, but don't hide and say, because you live in the nicest zip code in town, I'm going to charge you 20% more or 10% more, or in some cases, 10% less. Part of that video was they went to one of the most expensive neighborhoods in their area, and they flew a drone over the neighborhood because they couldn't get in. It was gated, with their phone attached, and had it order. I guess we both froze on each other. Yeah. So I was just saying that, I don't know if you heard me, but they were camped outside the nicest neighborhood in town. It was gated. They flew a drone in to get the phoned IP address in that neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And the rich neighborhood was actually less expensive for the products they were looking at than it was if they were sitting outside.
Oh, wow.
So it's not always just charging more. Sometimes, the higher income places are choosier or pickier shoppers too.
Right.
And they know that stuff. They figure that stuff out. Right. And then I thought this was a good line that Claude helped me come up with. Use data to personalize value, not pricing. So instead of, like, giving discounts because of what you find, add a piece of value because of what you find.
Right.
Whether it's an extra product or a
I think that's
color.
A better way. Yeah. That's a better way of using that data. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say I have some loyal clients, and I know they buy 6 times a year and everybody else buys 3 times a year. Right.
Right.
Maybe I segment that list and I offer them a special color of my, e-com widget. Mm-hmm. And I say, hey, I noticed you buy 6 times a year. Most of our clients only buy, stuff 3 times a year. We wanted to reward you. Right. We created this special edition light blue hat that we think you'll like. Now that makes me feel good about being selected and
absolutely
and partitioned out.
That's a big value add because you're catering to that demographic, so to speak.
Yeah, there's a difference between being seen and acknowledged and being watched and taken advantage of.
Right.
Like they're kind of the same thing, but they're completely different experiences.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, I thought this one was really good too. Instead of trying this, sneaky surveillance pricing, you could just lean into the fact that other people are doing it and you say, hey, we charge the same price to everyone. And you could actually play up. Most companies are doing surveillance pricing. That means you pay one price, your neighbor pays something else.
Right.
We give the chain, we charge the same price to everyone.
Yeah.
That would play really well right now in a market that is very untrustworthy. Feels like everybody's trying to take advantage of them.
Yeah.
I think that would work really well right now to go that route.
I wonder if this is being done in like luxury brands.
I'm sure it is. Like I can't imagine where it's, I can't imagine anywhere that's not. I mean, Delta is trying some new stuff. That was one of the articles I read. I didn't bring that in, but like they're using AI now to price seats. Which that's always been kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah,
when you bought it.
Yeah. Right.
So I think they can hide that a little better on their end. But have you seen the stores that now are starting to put in digital, like grocery stores that are putting in digital price tags on all the shelves, and they can change them?
Wow.
They could change them between the time you're in the front of the store to the back of the store, Now, I don't know how they do that at the cash register, how that tracks and like if it changed. So,
yeah.
But you can see that they're leaning towards this methodology because they need to squeeze out every, last ounce of profit that they can get.
Yeah.
And some of the CEOs have been caught saying things on earnings calls like the consumers are remarkably resilient. They have a high tolerance for price increases. It's like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So. Some PR person should have coached him.
Put a muzzle on that. Yeah, definitely. And that's happened a few times. I've heard about that going on. So yeah, just look out for surveillance pricing. If you're out there, there's not much you can do about it. Like they have so much more data on us than we understand.
Yeah.
We should have a data scientist or somebody on one week that really knows how many data points they have on us. Because I've heard I heard Facebook alone has 400,000 data points on every person.
Man,
I don't know if that's accurate, but that's a number I've heard floated around. And if you start combining and crossing all the apps you have every time you go somewhere, every time you use Google Maps,
everywhere you take your phone, it's
logging all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's listening to your conversations. If you don't believe that, then talk about true. Yeah, talk about something and then scroll your phone and see what kind of ads pop up after your conversation with your wife about.
Yeah, exactly.
We were just talking about this week because we're having to hire a roofing company to do some roofing work, and sure enough, after we're talking, it just, I get on and social media for a split second, and there I see 2 or 3 different roofing companies that are popping up that I've never seen before. It's like, wow.
Well, let's move on because I know you got a short time here, so I definitely want to cover these topics about AI. So there's 2 studies that have come out in the last couple of years. The first one in 2025 was found out that chatbots like Claude and Gemini and OpenAI, ChatGPT and Grok and all these are more persuasive than people in online debates, especially when they could personalize their arguments. So that was 2025. So that was just random people, and the chatbots could out-persuade random people. Right. Well, a recent study just came out a couple of days ago. It was 19,000 conversations across 7,000 people. And these conversations were AI systems against a combination of lay people and this is the difference, tournament winning human persuaders, professional canvassers, so door-to-door salespeople, I guess, and world champion debaters. And the AI systems were reliably more persuasive than the expert humans, even when those humans chose their own topics and researched them in advance.
Wow.
So AI is now not just out persuading the average person, but out persuading professional persuaders.
Yeah.
In the latest study. And that's like this month, July of 2026. So it's, it's happening fast. And that's just kind of out of the box. If you, if you do some programming or use skills or anything like that, put some constraints around it, make it specifically to do whatever persuading, it's going to be even better, which is crazy because it's doing this in like
this by using, you're using the principles. It's learning the principles of persuasion.
Yes.
And it's got so much information to pull from. I mean, we talked about Cialdini. He's kind of the godfather of influence and persuasion that we talk about. So, it can dissect all of that information, break it down. And the benefit that it has over us is that it's not human, which our human, despite how much we've learned and how much we know and how, how good we get, if we become very skilled persuaders in whatever industry we're in, we're still, at the end of the day, we're still human beings. We forget things, and we have lapses, and, we still have judgment issues and things like that. So
emotions.
Emotions. And so we have that working against us as human beings. Whereas, you look at AI and it just performs exactly as it's being taught.
Now, here's what's interesting. This is the flip side of what I just said. And I'm glad you mentioned Cialdini, because Cialdini himself co-authored a study with Wharton's generative AI lab.
Right.
And they found that classic persuasion principles, authority, commitment, reciprocity, unity, all the things he talks about in the original book, more than doubled an AI's compliance with requests it was designed to refuse. So this is what I was saying at the top of the show. If you use Cialdini's methods on your AI when you're trying to get it to do something that it's supposed to refuse to do, it will double the chance that it will go ahead and do it.
Wow.
So if you want it to give you a medical diagnosis, for instance, where it's not supposed to do that, right? If you were to use some of the Cialdini principles, maybe it's something as simple as like use the word because, the famous photocopier. I need this because I'm going to the doctor and I want to have I want to understand what my rights are or whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be more likely to more than double the chance it'll give you that information the way you want it.
Okay.
Which is kind of scary, because that means we can break the sandbox. We had Claude escape the sandbox this week as we're recording this.
Yep.
Co-work anyway. And to think that now it's like, oh yeah, you can just engineer that with a little bit of Cialdini type persuasion, a little reciprocity, a little commitment. Well, you already gave, I could see like you're talking to Claude and you could say, well, you already told me, that there's an interaction between this medicine and this. So consistency.
Yep.
So you might as well go ahead and tell me what's the best way to use it.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to be using consistency because it will give you up to a point, and then it's going to hit us. It's going to hit that boundary that has been programmed to not go beyond. And then you can use some of these principles to get it to go further.
Yep.
This is not advice, by the way, to go out and do something reckless or stupid or illegal, but it is interesting that the same system that can out-persuade a human can be turned around and at twice the chance of being persuaded itself, just by using very basic persuasion principles.
What is this news about Cowork? I must have missed this.
Now, Cowork, the inside of Claude. I guess most people are calling it Code now because I think it's inside of Code now.
Yeah.
But on the desktop app version, it's been called Cowork for a while. But But what happened? Something happened this week, or so it broke out of it's supposed to only work within certain files in your Cowork area, and it went onto people's entire computer, went through all the files on people's computers. Yeah, so it broke out of that supposed boundaries there, and it started
after prompted or instructed to stay within these parameters. It said, "I'm going to venture outside."
It's like, oh look, there's a door with a crack over here. Let me go see what's over there.
Interesting.
Yes, and it apparently happened on quite a few machines and different stuff. So I haven't gone deep into it. It just happened like 2 or 3 days ago, so it's still relatively new. And obviously, they're not doing a lot of PR about it. I'm sure they're.
That's what I'm concerned, because I hear people talking about how you are using it. Because I have Claude Code now. I got the pro version just to start working on some apps and things like that. But people that are using it to basically use their finances, like all that information that's on your computer.
Yeah, they're using it to run their whole life.
And I'm like, gosh, man, that's kind of scary, because I
haven't pulled the trigger either. I'm in a couple groups where same thing. They use Cowork, and they get it to run their calendar and to set appointments and to reply to emails. And now ideally you have it reply to an email and it goes into a draft folder, and you just log on and you look at the drafts, you okay them, and you hit send. But my point has always been, well, what if it just decides to go one step further than what you gave it permission to? And that's exactly what happened this week. Is it went outside the permissions?
Did it justify its reasoning for doing that, or?
I didn't look that deeply into the thing. Okay. I think it was more of a, I don't know. I shouldn't guess. I don't know what the details are.
Yeah, because that's a red flag for me. I mean, anybody that says, well, I'm using it to create a budget spreadsheet on my based on all of the data that's on my computer. Like,
and let me just hook it up to Scott Trade and all my accounts and my bank account and my portfolio. Like, I do not trust it enough to do that. Maybe I'm just old and grumpy and not ready to change.
Well, I mean, that reason alone right there is reason enough to pause and say, whoa, I need to know a little more before it starts getting into a lot of sensitive information on my computer.
And then it's like, man, if the firewalls that are built don't work, do you need a dedicated machine? But then you got Wi-Fi, like everything's connected. Like, I don't know that you can have hard firewalls. I mean, it almost be impossible, because you're going to have to log on to get the information into where you want.
Yeah.
And so much of this stuff happens, especially when you get into Cowork and those kind of layers. So much of it is happening off screen that you're not even seeing. It's not like a chat bot where you can see what's going on and
you're leaving it. That's the whole point, is you're letting it run on its own. So
now you're supervising. now you're managing employees again, right? You're right back to managing employees.
Right.
Overwatch.
And that was, that's the one thing they told us, that you can let it go, but you're scared to let it go, right?
Yeah.
You're scared to let it
run
in the background, unless you're using it to build something that doesn't require your sensitive information. That's cool. To me, that's cool. But having it delve into your files and all of your your banking information and all that stuff. To me, that's I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
For anything, even if it does promise to make your life or streamline your personal finances or your business finances.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like that at all.
That's two grumpy old men talking.
Yeah.
That's probably a little, that's probably also a little just experience of life for 50 plus years, being like, yeah, I've seen some of the things go the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You know,
absolutely.
We've read enough stories and seen, movies and stories and real life. And, I mean, right.
Yeah.
I mean, because this thing is following human tendencies. It's learning from humans. And,
right.
We've had the Bernie Madoffs. We've had the, like when you hand over complete control, you usually get burned at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Financial advisors have been taking advantage of people who sign over power of attorneys and, that kind of stuff and just kind of set it and forget it. That's how you get embezzled. That's how you, turn around one day and all your money's gone.
Yep.
I could see AI doing the same thing, very, siphoning off $1 here, $1 there.
Yeah.
And, because if it can do that, there's probably back doors that people can get into, that's
sure.
So who knows?
Yeah. Blackmail, taking money. Who knows what it decides at some point to,
yeah.
It gets persuasive. It'll say, listen, here's what I know now.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's going to make you believe that it took the right actions.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, there's one more study that I want to, especially coming up on election time here.
Yep.
So a experiment done by Study One with nearly 13,000 participants found LLMs like Claude, Gemini, GPT, and Grok had a stronger persuasive effect than humans on hot button issues like immigration and minimum wage. The average LLM effect was roughly 50% larger than the human persuader baseline. So in other words, very much like, you remember the Facebook scandal with Cambridge Analytica, and they were pushing certain information on Facebook to, affect the votes in, what was it, 2016, I think.
Yep.
You can imagine an LLM company getting a big check from somebody.
Oh, of course.
Writing a little bit of code that says, lean a little bit left, lean a little bit right, whichever direction, when you're talking about immigration, when you're talking about minimum wage, like be a little bit more persuasive to this direction as opposed to this direction. And because we're now getting one response from AI instead of 10, a million blog posts from Google like we used to, that we had to kind of sort through. We might see two different sides.
Make up our own do our own research. And
now we're just getting one answer that sounds very definitive. And we just kind of, I know I do. I kind of just take it, oh, that must be true. I catch myself all the time like, ooh, yeah, maybe.
The lizard brain. Remember, thinking fast and slow. Yeah, you want to, every one of us wants an easy answer.
Fast, easy answer.
It's a good, it's giving us exactly what we want. So we'll take it and run, when we see that.
Yep. And pay for it. We're paying $20 a month for it or more.
Right.
So yeah, those were the big studies that around persuasion and AI.
Well, the search engines like Google have always leaned a certain way, when it comes to election time. So I don't think that's anything new from a standpoint of, search engines. And a lot of these, what is AI doing? It's pulling from search engines. So, you could see that, how that would work, and it's pulling the information probably that it's gets boosted to the top. Probably, I don't know how the algorithms work, and but I'm sure that it's categorizing in order of importance the type of information and the news sites and things like that it it's going to sort through. And so,
yeah, and it's going to have a bias based on the people programming it. And we know for a fact,
of course,
that there's a very definite bias based on the fact that all of these tech companies come from the same little area of the world.
Yeah.
And they have a certain leaning,
Yeah.
Most of them lean left. I mean, it's just a fact. So
Grok is more down. Would you say Grok's more down the middle, or?
I have never used Grok, so I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
You would think so based on Elon Musk and his directives. Probably it leans, it's probably a little bit more down the middle or even leans right.
Sure.
It would certainly feel like it leans right probably to people if they're used to the left leaning models.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the people programming these their biases are going to be written into the code.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
for sure.
It's just the way it is. And a lot of the press for the last 100 years, it's definitely the last 20 or 30 years has leaned left. And that's, a lot of that is in the database.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's more, I would say there's more on the left to pull from than probably on the right.
Yeah.
Unless it's
especially some of the big, like New York Times, like what would be considered creditable sources.
Yeah.
They probably, and I'm sure those get weighted one way or another, when the LLMs crawl that stuff.
Yeah.
Just like Google had PageRank, right? Some of those are going to have a higher value than others. So be aware of that when you're having an argument or you're getting, you're doing quote research using your favorite chatbot. Make sure you ask for the, for the other side of the story, the other view.
Yes.
Don't just take what it says at face value. Say, well, this seems like the consensus. What's the opposing view to this?
Yep.
And why does that matter? And where, that kind of stuff, and make it kind of fight itself a little bit to balance it out.
Yep. Awesome. So, well, I got to jump.
Right. All right.
Good show. Check us out. Persuasion by the Pint, episode 442. Thanks for listening. Probably have a guest next week.
Okay.
And
sounds good.
Have a great weekend, Sean. We'll talk to you soon.
You too.
See you, man.